What's going on YouTube? Remy here. Welcome to my channel, High Seas Fishing. In this video we are going to be talking about cast nets. If you're on the market looking to purchase a high quality cast net and you're not sure which brand to go with, or you're not even sure what your options are out there, then this video should be able to help you out. Because if you look here behind me, I have every major brand of cast net that's in the market today. And what I mean by major brand is any brand that offers a professional grade series cast net. And the models that I have here are the top of the line models. They're the best that each of these companies has to offer. So first we're going to briefly go over each of these companies, talk a little bit about maybe the other brands that they offer, and followed by that we are going to thoroughly go over the design and build quality of each of these nets, from the hand line all the way down to the lead line. And at the end I will talk a little bit about pricing so you have a better idea of how much these nets are going to cost you. So thank you for watching. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So let's get right into it. From your left, my right, we have a Betts cast net here. They make many different series, from their very low end Tizac all the way up to their top of the line Super Pro series that we have here. Next we have Ahi. Again, they have many different series. We have the 200 Pro series here. Behind me is Fitec. Fitec is America's best selling cast net. We have the Ultra Spreader series here, and they just recently redesigned this net, so it's going to stack up very well with the other nets that we have here. Behind me we have Black Pearl. Name kind of speaks for itself. Great quality cast net. They don't make any low-end series, only professional grade series cast nets. Next we have Calusa. This is a great quality cast net. Unlike a few of these nets where they're made in the USA or China, these nets are handmade in Thailand, and they also make the Cracker series cast nets. Next we have Humpback. They're fairly new in the market. They're made by Lee Fisher, which also makes Baybuster cast nets and Mako cast nets as well. And finally we have Ego. This is a net that I never really heard of, but after doing some research, they are out there, and they're made by a company called American Maple, and they also make a lower end cast net called Fling cast nets. Now let's get into the actual comparison of the nets. Before I even open these, let's just take a quick look at the buckets that they come in. Most of them, they come in like a 3.5 gallon bucket, 3 gallon bucket. As you can see, Ego, I don't know why they use this maybe 1 gallon bucket. This is very tiny. I have a 12-foot cast net in there and it barely fits, so good for shipping, but you're not going to use this net, this bucket for storage after you use this net. So alright, so I have all of these nets unboxed. To make it simple and easy, we are going to start off with the hand line and we'll kind of work our way down to the lead line. So I'm going to put these nets down and get started. Alright, so starting off with the hand lines, there's nothing too special about these hand lines. They're your typical cast net hand lines. Your Ego and Humpback has the same line. Colusa is a little bit more dense type of hand line. It's more stiff. Black Pearl has the thickest out of all of them. You have Fitec, and something cool that Fitec has that none of these other nets have is this really nice comfort fit type a cuff that you can just put in your hand, and you don't have to worry about the line ever slipping out of your hand, and it's also quick to come off and put back on. Then you have Ahi, a little bit on the thinner side, and then finally you have your Betts. Let's take a look at these swivels. All of these swivels are corrosion resistant of some type, so they won't rust. Betts, Black Pearl, and Humpback looks like they use the same size swivel. The same goes for Fitec and Colusa, the same size. Ahi is a little bit on the thinner, lighter duty side, and Ego has a really nice, unique two-piece brass swivel. And while we're looking at the swivels, let's just take a quick look at the way they secure the braid lines to the swivel. Most of these uses crimps, like you can see here. Black Pearl has the largest crimp out of all, more heavier duty. And Colusa and Humpback actually strays away from that and uses a line that wraps around the braid lines to get it secure. Colusa has a really nice touch. They use this braided twine that wraps around the braid lines. Now let's talk about the horns of the cast net. They all come in different sizes and colors. Black Pearl has the largest horn out of all these nets. The larger horns are supposed to help with unloading the net quicker when you actually retrieve the net. Ahi as well uses a large horn. Now some of these nets are cross-sectioned, they're divided in 4, and this prevents braid lines from twisting, and it also is supposed to prevent any bait from escaping. And there's something cool that Fitec has in their newest gen ultra spreader series, is that the inside of the horn actually rotates, and it's a pretty cool design. I'm not really exactly 100% sure what this is meant for, but I'm assuming that it helps maybe prevent line twists. I mean, from the braille lines from twisting when you throw the net. So cool feature nonetheless. All right, now let's talk about one of the most important parts of the cast net, and that's the actual netting of the cast net. These are all 6-panel cast nets. They aren't your circular panel nets that you get on your cheaper nets. A good quality cast net is gonna be made of high-grade monofilament, and it's gonna last long. It also has to be soft and limp, which will allow the net to open easier and larger. Colusa definitely has the softest netting material compared to the rest of these nets. Black Pearl also has soft material. Fitec is soft. Ahi is soft too. Betts and Humpback a little bit on the stiff side. I would say Ego is okay. It's not bad. Now, while we're talking about the netting, a few of these nets have double selvage. Double selvage netting is basically double netting at the horn and the lead line of the net. These parts of the nets are where they face the most amount of stress, so it's going to increase your durability and longevity of the net. Now, if they don't have double selvage, some of these nets are also increase the monofilament strength in these areas, like Colusa does. Colusa, as well as Fitec, the top and bottom, they use strong monofilament in these areas instead of using the double selvage like Black Pearl, Humpback, and Betts. All right, now let's talk about the lead line. This is another very important part of the cast net. There's many different factors that goes into making a good lead line, like whether it's a single lead line or a double lead line, the amount of knots that they use to tie the netting to the lead line. Now, the weight of these nets will vary with each other, and some of these brands, they actually have different weighted nets within each series. I will have the weights of these nets displayed when I go over each of these nets. Starting off with the Betts, you have a double lead line. They use larger and fewer weights. Depending on the mesh size, the smaller mesh sizes, it doesn't come with every single mesh tied to the lead line. With the Ahi, you do have every single mesh tied to the lead line. This is a single lead line as well. Farther apart, weights will vary. With the new Ultra Spreader series nets, every single mesh is tied to the bottom, and you do have a double lead line. With the GS 1500 series that you have here, you have 1.5 pounds of lead per foot. With the GS 1000 series, you have 1 pound of lead per foot. So that's the difference between the 1000 series and the 1500 series, is just the weights. The Black Pearl, you have 3 different series. The silver, which comes with 1.2 pounds, I believe. The gold series that we have here, that has 1.65 pounds of lead per foot, and the extra heavy series that has a 1.9 pounds of lead per foot. And you do have a double lead line with this. Every single mesh will be tied to the bottom of lead line, and they use this small marble design leads, so they use more leads that are smaller, so you can get a tighter seal at the bottom, so baits won't escape. Now we have Colusa. This is probably one of my favorites. It is a single lead line, and but they do use a thicker and very limp lead line. So you see here, it has a nice seal at the bottom. It comes with 1.5 pounds of lead per foot. You can see the attention to detail they paid when assembling these nets. Every single knot was precisely tied by hand at the bottom. And something else with the Colusa is they have some braided rope here tied to the bottom of the mesh line, so you don't have direct mono tied to the lead line. Really nice feature. Now we have Humpback. This is a similar design to the Black Pearl. This comes with 1.5 pounds of lead. They do have a shallow water model that I think comes with 1.2 pounds of lead, but I'll have it here. And finally we have Ego. Again, double lead line. Every single mesh is not tied to the lead line. You can see here it's every other mesh. and this net comes with 1.2 pounds of lead per foot. Right, now let's talk about pricing. I will have the price chart up here. The prices will be based on the 8-foot 3/8 inch mesh. I will have the link in the description for the websites or a place where you can buy these nets. And please feel free to comment down below if you have any questions, maybe any advice of what net you should be choosing. I'll be more than happy to answer those questions. And do hit that like button, the subscribe button as well. It took me a long time to get this video done. Thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions for any future videos, do comment below. And until next time, tight lines. Peace out.